Hi everyone, it's EvilGraham93 doing another review for you, and this one is going to be on Creepshow by Stephen King, written by Stephen King, directed by George A. Romero. It's a pretty great film. It's basically an anthology film. It has 5 stories on it. The first one is Father's Day, then it goes on to the lonesome death of Geordie Verrill, something to tide you over, then the crate, and then lastly they're creeping up on you. So the first one, Father's Day, is basically about this old man that gets killed by his daughter because he's just awful to her, and he constantly goes on about his Father's Day cake. He's like, where is it, where is it? And then she just ends up killing him, and it fast forwards so many years, and then he comes back as a zombie when it's a family reunion and kills a lot of them. So yeah, that's pretty good, that one. Second one, The Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill. This one actually stars Stephen King as Geordie Verrill, but this story's probably the weakest out of all of them. It's basically Stephen King's character, Geordie Verrill. He comes across this meteor that falls into his back garden, and he's thinking that he could sell it on for something, and then it accidentally breaks, and then he thinks that it's got to be less value, but he takes it in anyway, but it drips all this ooze all over his hand, and he just wipes off in his clothes thinking that it's just muck basically, and then takes it into the house while stripping the goo all towards his house, and he forgets about it, sits down and forgets about it, and then he finds that this plant-like substance is growing on him until it completely takes him over, and he ends up killing himself. But it's not the best out of them. It's probably the worst. The third is Something to Tide You Over. This one stars Leslie Nielsen in it. He is basically a man that gets revenge after his wife is cheating on him. So he basically buries them both on the beach, up to their heads in sand. Not next to each other, but one's on one side of the beach, the other's on the other. And they both got video cameras there so they can watch what each other are doing on the TV, and they end up drowning. And when Leslie Nielsen goes back to his seaside apartment, or whatever it is, like a little bungalow sort of thing, the two people come back as zombies, completely like soaked and got seaweed covered all over him, and they basically bury him neck height in the sand and leave him to drown. So that one's alright. Next is my favourite one, The Crate, which has Hal Holbrook and Adrienne Barbeau. I think that's how you pronounce her name, but she's in The Fog and various other films. But this one's basically about Hal Holbrook, who finds a crate underneath the stairs in the university that he works at, and when he and the janitor open it, they find that it's a monster in there, and the janitor gets eaten, and when Hal Holbrook comes back with someone else, you find that the crate's disappeared and it's gone back beyond the stairs, but the monster's not in it, and he attacks the other bloke and eats him, and then he eventually gets the idea to feed his wife to the monster. I think it's Hal Holbrook that finds it. I could be mistaken for someone else. Just go quickly read the back. I think it's somebody else that I'm thinking of. I think it's that one guy from The Reanimator. Hold on just a second. Can't remember what his name is. I can't remember what his name is, but he's basically the guy who gets the talking head in The Reanimator. I think that's the same bloke. He finds it, sorry, it's not Hal Holbrook. And then he tells Hal Holbrook about it. And then because his wife's awful to him, he basically gets the idea to feed her to the monster, which he does, and then the monster goes back into its crate and he padlocks it up and throws it into the water. But yeah, that's the best one out of these by far. And then the last one is basically about this man who lives in his high-rise apartment, and everything's white, so if he sees any dirt he can clean it up straight away, and he's obsessed with cleaning and bugs. He hates bugs as well. If there's a bug on the floor, he's got to spray it with the bug spray, and he's got to get rid of it. Everything's got to be nice and clean and sanitary in his apartment, until one night his apartment gets infested with a load of cockroaches, and he basically goes mad in there, and he's a horrible old man anyway. He finds out that one of his business partners has killed himself because he's got no money or something like that, and he just pretty much laughs it off when his wife rings up and asks him, why did he kill himself? Is it because of you? He basically laughs it off. I think a lot of people could be it could be seen as a revenge sort of thing, as if some sort of spirit's making all these cockroaches come in. That's how I saw it, and I found it quite funny actually. But he does die in the end, and all the cockroaches go into his mouth and everything, and then when they find his body, they just come out of his throat. But yeah, they're the stories in this. Like I said, the Crate's probably my favourite, and then if I had to go down, like, Crate would be number one favourite, then probably Father's Day, then Something to Tide You Over, The Creeping Up at You, and then the last one would be Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill. But yeah, this is the special edition release. I don't know who it's released by. Oh, it's a Universal release. So yeah, it's got bonus features, feature commentary with director George A. Romero and special makeup effects creator Tom Savini. It's got Just Desserts, the making of Creepshow, a feature-length retrospective with all new cast and crew interviews. It's got deleted scenes, Tom Savini's behind-the-scenes footage, the original theatrical trailer, and Stills gallery. So it also comes in a slipcase, so there's the cover there. That's what the back looks like. And then a rather impressive artwork, which I really like, because the little boy's reading the Creepshow comic, which is basically this cover, and you can see, if you look even closer, there's loads and loads of other pictures, so I really like that. The back's pretty much the same as the slip case, but it's in different colours. And then you've got the two discs. So all in all, it's a pretty good release, and I've heard so far it's the best release out there, so I'm really glad I picked that up, and it was only really cheap in the sale actually. I only picked it up for about £5, I think, and whereas before I'd seen it in the same shop out of the sale and it was about £20, so I was pleased to pick that up. But yeah, this is by far the best out of the Creepshow films. There's two other sequels. There's Creepshow 2, which is also very good, but only has 3 stories, and then there's Creepshow 3, which is absolutely awful. So, but I think that goes back to 5 stories, I think. But it's a terrible film. Number 1 and 2 is where it's at. But this is the best one by far. So I hope this was helpful to you. I highly recommend Creepshow. A good strong 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's just the Geordie Verrill story that done it for me. I just didn't really like that one. But otherwise it would have been a good, probably 9.5. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye.